Hello, everyone. Welcome again to an episode of Go Live Lounge. Once again, I'm your host, GrittyBot, and thank you, everyone, for season one. It was fantastic to speak to the numerous content creators and streamers that we did talk to. I did decide to come back for a second season, and I'm very happy to talk to someone who is, one might say, a beacon of very bright light optimism. Happiness, I guess we could say. I'm a little jaded myself, so to see her as my antithesis is always fun to see. She's quite a boisterous soul. She's one might say a Sims addict, which is fantastic because we all need that creative outlet. And she's someone who is very sunshine, honestly, on the Twitch community. Today, I am very fortunate to be talking to GnomeFinder. Gnome, how are things out in the West Coast today?
Well, we don't have any fires.
Fantastic.
That's good. We love that. In Northern California, we're doing very good. It's kind of cold today, but I decided to still have wet hair.
Well, hey,
so we're here.
It's something where hey, we're doing this in the beginning of October, and thankfully, hey, we still have the seasons to really appreciate when it comes to weather, and I'm very happy to have been able to break out the sweaters. Thank God.
Yes.
I feel like at some points, like we want to be able to appreciate the seasons and things that they can bring about. So, hey, we can break out the hoodies and the colder weather and just roll with it.
Heck yeah, and also soup.
Absolutely, we do appreciate soup. What is your favorite soup? So if we get
favorite soup, hands down, has to be probably a good clam chowder would be great with some really good
town?
Sourdough.
Which town?
Which town?
Manhattan or Boston?
The red or the white? Oh, which one is not the red one?
Boston.
So Boston.
Boston is the white country. I've never had the Manhattan clam chowder. I hear it's kind of
different.
Yeah, I hear it's like a little more just I don't want to say bitter, but just a big difference in taste when it comes to that.
It is.
So no, I mean I have not had a chance to really appreciate that. But no, I actually that is absolutely that's a top two for me. I would say now back where I used to live, there was a cream of crab soup that had a great spice bite to it.
Oh my god!
Oh, it was fantastic.
I love crab.
It is fantastic. Crab is somewhere in my top 5, I'd say, at least when it comes to sushi. I never really have crab regular like on a plate, but sushi wise, it's definitely top 5. This cream of crab soup though is just beautiful.
Oh, that sounds so good though.
Yeah, especially that little kick to it. So
100%.
Something that we always talk about, something that streamers always tend to fall back on is food when it comes to having these discussions. So it's good that we're off to a conventional start.
I live in food. I love food.
I mean, we need to live in food, otherwise, we're living in the ground at that point.
Yeah.
Gallows humor, but hey, gallows humor sometimes is a reality.
Oh, Gritty, I love it.
So, speaking of start, we'll transition over to the first question. And no, first off, can you tell me how long you actually have been involved in the streaming platform?
With Twitch, I actually started in around June of last year of 2020 because, of course, the pandemic. So that was my start. But honestly, I've kind of always wanted to stream. Ever since Twitch kind of became a thing, I forget when it was, but years ago. My brother always tried to encourage me to do it, and then I finally took the leap for COVID.
Nice.
We're here.
So was it your brother strictly that got you started with streaming, or was there any other motivations that brought you into it?
Well, I've played video games my entire life. Again, my brother is a big contributing factor to that. However, when it came to streaming, I remember when I decided to finally start doing it, I I follow Ninja. I follow Ninja, and I saw that he made so much money. And I know that it's not all about the money, but I was like, shoot, like I love video games. I like talking to people about video games. I'm not doing anything. We're quarantined. My brother thinks that I would do a really good job at it. Like, let's just try it and have some fun. And if I make some money doing it, then shoot, what the heck? Why the heck not? You know?
I
So
mean, it's always good too. I mean, and I think that's I remember seeing someone discuss about this the other day. Uh, how you I don't want to say come out because I feel like that's towards something a little more serious when it comes to how we identify, but how we talk to those when we're adults about the idea that hey, I'm going to be my course in life is going to be streaming video games,
yeah.
talking about video games because most people think that it's a younger person's hobby. It's a teenage and adolescent hobby.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's always great to see that the first motivator you have is a relative. And did you speak to other relatives about this prior to getting involved, or did that kind of come later on, like
That's
talking to
actually
them about that?
that's an excellent question. I was talking to my mom about it for a while. And she told me that I would be really good at it too. And the thing is, it's so great about Twitch is like there's so many other platforms that can be on Twitch that aren't video games. And so I think that that's not really highlighted enough. And so when it comes to Twitch, I feel like it has a big audience that nobody really realizes. I meet people that are in their 20s, people that are in their teens, people that are in their 50s or 60s. Everybody and anybody can be on Twitch, which is so much fun because there's streamers that are of all ages and there's community members and viewers of all ages. So for me, when I talked to my mom about it, she was already watching someone do, she likes like balloon, she likes like balloon arrangements. So she watches someone stream that
We have our
and do
hobbies.
that. Yeah. That are, yeah. And so she already knew about Twitch from like other platforms, which is really cool. So yeah, she actually encouraged me to do it too. My brother and my dad was like one of those people that was like, what's going on? I don't understand. So I had to explain to him and then I showed him, but then he started to he still doesn't get it. But yeah, that is the common thing where it's like you're playing video games on Twitch. What does that mean? What's Twitch?
As long as they fall within, I feel like it's like one of three ways it can go. It's the fully accepting, it is the confused, the curious but confused, and then
Yes.
the what are you even thinking about right now?
Yeah.
And as long as they
What?
fall somewhere between the medium and the positive, at least there's that.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, but that's great though. That your family was completely accepting of you getting involved with this. Um, you said that your one of your first follows was Ninja. Um, was there anyone though when you got started that you spoke to for guidance? Any kind of advice that they gave you?
Yeah, definitely. Before I started actually getting into Twitch and streaming, like I've had an account for a while. I just never, streamed. And I never really watched people on Twitch. uh, I decided to befriend some streamers that were on Instagram that played similar games to myself and kind of like ask them some questions and kind of see what their streams are and tune into some streams and kind of, get a feel for the process because it's a very expensive hobby if you really want to get into it. And I'm the kind of person where it's like I'm all in or all out. Like I have to be 100% in. So um I befriended a one person who doesn't stream anymore, but he kind of walked me through this, like what his perspective was on it, if he liked it, if he would see himself doing it in the future. And then I met EPL dude 96 when I started streaming immediately, like my first week, and he was probably someone that was a major contributor to my process as to Discord and my content, and he kind of walked me through a lot of it. So I think befriending a lot of small streamers at first was the way to do it because they will give you the honest answer. So
So when you got started, what did you really see as your goal for this? Was it just a matter of creating a social communication, but just creating a network?
Mhm.
Was it, I mean, I know you said before, it's not all about the money, but
That's
admittedly,
nice.
we need a little something to
Yeah.
fuel our habits, especially when it comes to streaming and upgrading and all that. But talk me through your motivations when it came to streaming when you got started.
So again, I have played video games forever and I always love just bonding with people. I love watching video games. I love bonding with people over video games. So I just wanted to just do an outreach. I couldn't hang out with people for quarantine. And I just thought this would be a really good opportunity to meet some amazing people that are like-minded individuals, or people that even would play things differently than myself, that I could expand my gaming library per se. But when I started streaming, I really wanted to create an environment where people could just come and just bond over every and any games and just chill out like we were hanging out in person, like a very intimate, very positive and fun place for people to go while the world was basically in shambles. Was kind of like my motivation. I wanted to put myself out there and be like, this is me. I want to be your friend, and I also like video games. So come on over.
Yeah,
And I loved it. I think that was, being on Twitch is probably the best decision I've made of my life. Today, especially just being on there for a year and a half, it's changed my life dramatically. I've met so many amazing people and just made my life so much fuller. So.
absolutely. Uh, so when it comes to you mentioned before about reaching out to smaller streamers, is there any advice you would give to those who might be in your shoes, that back in May of 2020, before they get started, any advice you would give them before they start broadcasting on platforms like Twitch?
Yeah, definitely. I always tell people to be persistent and consistent. I have a lot of people that come to me and they're just very down in the dumps about their viewers. Like, don't worry about it. Always stream when you want to stream and always have fun with it. That's the biggest priority. Have fun with it. Be persistent with your content, be consistent with your content, and definitely collaborate with other streamers that have a community that you want your community to be like. So collaborate, be consistent, be persistent, and just be positive and have a good time. Like, that's all that I could tell you. That's what I've done. Sometimes I've been there where it's like you have a viewer count of like 2 people. So what? Like, that's 2 more people hanging out with you. Like, you wouldn't be upset if you had 2 friends over at your house hanging out with you. So why does it matter when it's online?
Mhm.
Like, still have fun with it. You're still going to have fun. Doesn't matter how many people are there. And it doesn't matter if someone's stream looks better than you, then do some research, reach out to other streamers, ask them how they did certain things on their streams, befriend people. That's just what's helped me become who I am, what I am right now, which, I mean, obviously isn't the ninja type like
Oh, hey,
thousands of people, but it's really made me feel better about myself and my content, is that advice.
absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we don't need to be that person that's on top. We don't need to
Yeah.
be the best when it comes to that. So, being, I don't want to say content, but okay with having that safety net of expectations when you do
Yeah.
start streaming, I think it's always the most important.
Yeah.
So
Being secure with your content and yourself
exactly,
is very important.
secure the content.
Yeah.
Perfect way to say that.
Mhm.
What It's been about a year. It's been about a year and a half for you at this point. In that time, what have you seen as the struggles or the challenges that have come from streaming, and how do you go about addressing them?
So challenges, I think for me, it's more of like a scheduling, like what works better for what I like. Sims.
Hmm?
What's a good time frame for people to watch Sims? Finding like the perfect time frame for people to come watch you, because there is a peak time for a lot of games. And so for me, I have to figure out when's a good time, when's a peak time. So it's kind of like trial and error for my schedule. That's been kind of like a challenge, especially now that I'm full time. That's been kind of like a challenge because I was usually nighttime 3 days a week. Now I'm doing like day streams, which is like a different ball game for me. So basically just figure out my schedule, or what incentives I want to do for certain like subathons. Incentives have been killing me on certain like long 12-hour streams. I'm trying to figure those things out. And always like thinking about what new horror games I could be playing. I love indie games too. So I'm like trying to do research on horror indie games per se to highlight those. So more so for like finding new content and scheduling and making content fun for everybody, but
Yeah.
also not me wanting to jump out of a window for like shaving my head off. Like, you know, like how people just shave all of their hair off. So like, what can I do that's fun for people? So always just finding like new things to do as well has been a challenge.
So and I've seen a lot of people do this, and I respect it a lot more. Frankly, you know, I think I can max out maybe like 12 hours or so. People doing the 18, 24, you know,
No.
anything past that. Like, how do you what do you think is, I guess the question I want to ask is, what is how do you balance the risk and reward when it comes to doing those kinds of things that really do test you physically and mentally when it comes to those kinds of challenges?
Right. So for my 12-hour, I don't know if you saw, but I ate like such a bad, no one do this. This is an awful idea. I ate 15 warheads at once, like all at once. And then I decided to do a sour drink challenge like a couple hours after that.
Can I ask what your taste buds did to you to make you want to do that to them?
I like, honestly, that was such a dumb move. I can't have hot food for like medical purposes. Like I can't be eating like that kind, which I love spicy. So I would have done a spicy challenge. I would have done something like that. However, I can't. So I was like, the last thing I could have is sour. So let's do everything sour. And again, I have been having some troubles with incentives. So I decided to play 2 sour challenges, like incentives in that. My taste buds were completely fried. Everybody loved it, but it's like, no. No. So for me, it's like, I need to find something that works for everybody, which has been a challenge. But oh God, that's just been like, for me, for 24 hours, I would never be able to do a sour challenge in a 24-hour stream, because when I had a 12-hour, I also like, I have a lot of energy. It's hard to keep that at bay for even a 12-hour, let alone a 24-hour, when you're supposed to sleep at some point. So for me, I think 12 hours is going to be like the max for me. 8 hours, I do Sims build in 8 hours. Like I just chill. So that's not really a challenge. It's just me just chilling out, but I don't do it every time. For me, I think a good time range would be like 2 to 3 hours for a stream for anybody at starting range.
Yeah, absolutely.
But definitely buckle up for an 8 to 12 to 24 if you're going to do that, because you need to have snacks. You need to, you know, plan accordingly. You need to sleep the next night. Like it's like you need to also plan all these fun things to keep people interested for an extended amount of time, which is very stressful and very challenging, but people really like them when they're not doing them, of course. But like you'll never see me doing a 24-hour stream ever. That's just murder. It's Moida.
always set a firm limit on your own expectations, you know, instead of letting others basically carry that for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So don't do sour challenges. The moral of this question is, do not do sour challenges.
All right, I will absolutely try to not abide by that. So we're, as I said, you're plus in. I know you talked before about some of the struggles that, you know, people deal with when it comes to streaming. One of those concerns that I have always read about, I think, you know, we all know someone in streaming who's dealt with this. Do you ever have concern though about the concept of burnout? And if you have had that. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question as well. So burnout does happen to everybody. It doesn't matter how, high energy or low energy you are as a streamer. Um, Keeping up conversation in general is challenging. So for me, I think what's really important, especially if you're full time, don't be shy to take off a day. If you're just like, hey, I'm not going to stream today, I need a day to myself. Like, people are going to understand, because you don't want to put content out there that you're not proud of. Like, you don't want to do a stream where you're just like dead to the world tired just because you're scheduled to be streaming that day. Like, you need to worry about yourself, hands down, and your community will understand. People, if they want to see you, they're gonna come watch you whenever you stream regardless. So don't, just always make sure to take care of yourself. If you have burnout, drink plenty of water during streams, take breaks, but definitely take days off. Like this week I took a Sunday off, like, because I need to get some stuff done. And
Yeah.
don't ever be ashamed to do that. I think people get scared that they're going to lose their following if they take days off, or if they take breaks, their viewer count's going to, who cares? Take care of yourself. Nobody cares. Like, you are your biggest fan, so you need to take care of yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things where a lot of people, I think you brought the best point, that they're worried about being obscure by basically taking their own time, and
Mm-hmm.
you're cultivating a relationship with many hundreds, thousands of people with your followers.
Yeah. Yep.
For a small percent that may for some reason feel offended by that, personal health, personal mental health, we're not everyone's going to be perfect. So that's what I think it's important about, just caring about yourself first, instead of rather than caring about others.
Yeah. 100%.
So
100%.
something that I have wanted to start finding out, because
Mm-hmm.
it's people only get a look at us, when we hit the go live button, and then up until we rate out.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the process like for you before you go live? What's the pre-stream process like? Is there any traditions or anything like that you do outside of the announcements? Is there anything you do just to put yourself in that state of mind?
It's funny because it's totally evolved since I started streaming. I used to get very nervous before I would go on.
Hmm.
And which is weird because I'm usually an outgoing person. But for me, what I used to do is I would make sure to check all my stuff on OBS, because I was like so anal on like my settings and stuff. But as like a ritual, I didn't really have any rituals. I would just make sure to just like do something I enjoy before I started streaming, which is like, even if that's watching Netflix or playing a game or hanging out with friends, I always make sure to do something like that before, of like get my mood up and running. Or just to just chill out. I like to work out now. Like, I used to do that, and now today I'm like, okay, gotta go in, turn on my lights, like everything's set up, I don't care, everything's fine. Like, I do my stream info like from my phone like 3 hours before. I just don't have to wait about it or worry about it. So I just come in and just sit down and just hit live.
Yeah.
Like, I to me it's like, I don't really have any rituals other than like, I'm gonna try to get some things done before stream, like some normal people adult things, and then maybe do something fun, and then just kind of slowly make my way into my little stream shed to hit live. But other than that, I don't really have any like specific rituals. I want to know if anybody else does though.
Feel free to leave them in the comments.
Yeah, I want to hear that. Please tell me.
I mean, I'm curious about that, because especially in your situation, others who have who make this a full-time arrangement,
Mhm.
we're dedicating anywhere from 2 to 8 hours minimum sometimes to basically just shutting out the world. And
Yeah.
how the reason I was curious about it was just, I want to know from people, how they go about basically queuing, basically darkening, basically creating that tunnel vision. Like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm going to be looking at a screen, guaranteed for about 2 to 8 hours, just like if I was in an office job. normally people do things before those kinds of things. So when it comes to content creation, where we got, not just looking at the screen, but also be funny or be creative in some way, how
Mhm.
people go about that,
Yeah.
how people go about ramping themselves into that state of mind.
Yeah. It's like going to work. Yeah.
Uh, I don't think we should try to think about it like that, but yeah, at the end of the day,
You know what I mean? Like you're getting ready
yeah,
to do something
no,
to where, like
absolutely,
you're saying, but also too, what I just realized, I also make sure to eat
yes,
beforehand because I'm
absolutely,
very good at not eat.
yes. We all can get very hangry and
Hangry.
don't want to take it on the wrong people. So,
Yes. Yes.
um, so I one of the things that I mean, thankfully, doesn't sound like you've had to deal with this at all, but one of the things that streamers have to deal with is misconceptions when it comes to streaming. As I mentioned before, we are people who are basically being paid, subs and bits and what have, to basically play video games on a computer.
Mhm.
Um, that can be seen as misconception as that's all that we do.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more to it. What do you think is the biggest misconception that uh, you've experienced or you've seen others experience as streamers, as content creators, and how do you or how do those people deal with those misconceptions from what you've seen?
So, okay. So this just me talking, and I'm a very big advocate for this, but female gaming um, as a whole has been a huge misconception. So when you take that onto Twitch, you get a lot of different people that think different things about yourself, and a lot of the times females on Twitch, they get like objectified to like, oh well, you're only making money because you're dressed like this, or that's the reality of a lot of the female viewer community is we get paid because we look cute, and it's like, no, I'm here on Twitch because I want to be friends with you. Like I don't want you to throw money at me because I look cute. I want you to throw money at me because you support what I do and what I'm about. And so for me, it's more, and I hate to take it here, but it is more of like a gender thing for me when it comes to misconceptions because I've dealt with it my entire life.
Mhm.
Like you're not good at video games. You just want to act cute and hold a controller. And it's like, no, that's not what we're doing. We actually enjoy playing video games. Like we just like
Yeah,
to also look cute at the same time.
yeah,
We just
absolutely.
happen to look cute. But for me, that's why I'm very strict about my channel, where it's like, you are here because I value you as a person, not because I want your money. You like I value my community, I value their respect, and that's what we're about, not like me streaming just because I want your money. That's not how it is. People want to make content to be like, this is who I am, and I'm putting myself out there, and I'm hoping to find people that also feel the same way I do as I do about certain games and teach me some things. So I think a lot of people get the idea that like, oh, we're just on Twitch because we want to just utilize people for their money. And it's like, a lot of us don't get a lot of money to
Mhm.
start with. If we get like $1, cool. Like we just made a freaking dollar we didn't have last week, like it's not about that. It's more about our content. It's about video games, about bonding over similar subjects and games and movies and shows and just talking about life. Like it's not just about a business. So that's what it is, especially for females too. It's just been such a struggle. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's I'm certain that you are not the first, nor will you be the last to talk about the
yeah,
gender bias issue when it comes
I'm
to
listening. I
streaming.
just got to put my headset in.
No
Oh, there we
problem.
go.
um, you won't be the last to talk about the gender bias when it comes to platforms like Twitch, when it comes to
Yeah,
gaming platforms, because yeah, I mean the stereotype has always been that it's more male driven, male generated content that's accepted by society. So
yeah,
anything that we could do to really break down those stereotypes, however we could chip at them,
yeah,
is always going to be positive, and that's why women honestly do have to do a lot more, in my opinion, to basically tell their story, to unfortunately justify their existence on these platforms, which
right.
sucks, honestly.
Yeah, and the thing is with me too, it's like I totally acknowledge and accept every female on Twitch for if doesn't matter regardless of how their dress, like that's their choice. That's what they want to wear. That's on them. Like that's not, that's not always the motive for a lot of female streamers. But for me, it's like I have a love-hate relationship with this concept. But for me, like when I'm on stream, unless it's a cosplay or anything like that I'm doing for a costume or whatever for stream, I will always wear a t-shirt. I will always wear a sweatshirt just to be covered up, because I want to put out the idea like, I want you to focus on me and not my body. Like that's just my personal stance. If other women on Twitch want to do that, all power to them. That's fine. For me, I'm just very much to the point where it's like, I don't want you to come here and make comments about my body. I want you to come here and just really focus on who I am as a person and get to know me as a person. That's why I dress the way that I dress on stream. And I just want to be comfortable. But, like that to me, like that, it sucks because like I should be able to do whatever I want and feel comfortable with it. But for me, it's like, I want to wear what's going to make me stand out as a person rather than like an object to a lot of viewers.
No, absolutely. So, yeah. That's a great philosophy to live with on that.
Yeah.
So you talked about before how you do enjoy playing games off stream, basically keep in touch with people. You have a very active Discord. What if anything is your favorite thing to do? And I'll ask you on both ways. What's your favorite thing to do when on stream, but also too, what's your favorite thing to do when you're offline that's tied into your work with streaming?
So my favorite thing to do on stream, I I love doing cosplays. I want to do more. But I also really enjoy just like on my Sims days when I have my Simify days where I make people on the Sims, because I get to like chat with the people I'm making, because basically it's like I have a 10,000 point channel point redemption, and once redeemed, I will ask you a series of questions. And then I get to like know something about my viewers and my community, and I get to chill out with them on stream and make them on stream. So that's my favorite thing to do on stream, is just kind of like get to know my community.
That's great.
And then my favorite things to do off stream, I have like about a few. I love to garden. I have a huge property that I garden on. And then I love to cook. Most of my professional career, I was in kitchens. And then I also like to obviously play video games, but I don't want to say that because it's like the default. But I love to hang out with my cat Frasier.
Nice.
That is if it's not video games. But yeah, just like having a good time, cooking, eating some good food, hanging out with my friends in the kitchen, throwing down like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good to create that clear line between when you are streaming and when you're offline. So yeah, keeping those offline habits is always the most important, especially when you're full time.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a mental health balance. So we talked about, and it's entirely possible this could happen. We talked about your peak aspirations when you first got started of following Ninja and looking at the numbers, and anything's possible. So, but so where do you see your future goals? Like what do you have in mind as you continue content creation, as you continue your time on Twitch, going forward in the immediate?
So for me, it sucks because it's like, I feel like a lot of the times, like for people that have like a small community, like they have a little bit more fun because it's a more intimate setting. So it's like, I kind of don't want to like get too big if that happens. But if I did, I would love to be a Sims game changer. That would be so cool. I'm actually friends with a few of them. They have such a good time on stream. I mean, so do I, but like they get packs before they're released.
I was gonna say, if you could just elaborate a little more for those who might not be familiar.
Yeah, so a Sims game changer is basically someone that is contracted with Sims that is able to, showcase their content before it's released, as is like, expansions or stuffs packs or certain gameplay things that they've updated. Like they do refreshes, which is like they repair a lot of the packs if they have bugs and things. So I would love to just be a Sims game changer if that ever happened. But eventually I would just love to just have a super giant, amazing community to where we just all hang out and have a good time, and people feel accepted and they can come to our community for a good time. Like, I just want to create an environment for people eventually, as small as it is, to even grow that to just a really big, supportive, warm, welcoming, fun community. Like, that's the important goal for me.
Absolutely.
Keep growing that.
And growth is always about persistence, and like you said, the consistency in the content push out is always important. Is now, I know that, and we're going to leave this in the description, your Instagram content as well as your Discord and your Twitch handle. Do you see yourself, and I'm just going to add this on, do you see yourself with an interest in getting involved with other platforms in regards to different ways to put out your content?
Like TikTok and stuff?
TikTok, YouTube, things like that, to basically just, expand your reach a little further.
Right.
Like where are you at on that one?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like social media is such a great place to promote yourself. So the more the better, in my opinion. But I also feel like it's very overwhelming for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It can be. But for me, like, I love creating promos and stuff like that. So I love doing that on my Instagram. I love posting fun pictures. But when it comes to like TikTok and YouTube, I'm still trying to figure out, because it's like, for YouTube, I need like the videos editing software. Like, I just need stuff to do that. And right now I have the bare minimum of what I need to get the job done. So I think eventually I could see myself doing speed build videos, like taking my streams and making them into speed builds for YouTube. Or I've been really considering TikTok, but a lot of people are liking Instagram Reels. It's just always changing. I just got into Twitter. I feel like such a Karen. I just got into Twitter. So I'm slowly making my way into other platforms. But for me, I never like say, oh, I'm never going to do that. Like, I never turn anything down. Like, I always try to, like, if it's an opportunity, then why not, look into it and see if that's what you want to do. And if it works for you, then fine, then do it.
Especially when you're making it a full-time thing. I don't think you could really say no immediately without trying something out.
Yeah, it's like advertisement.
Yeah.
Why would you, if you had free advertisement for your company, why would you turn that down?
No,
so
absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I want to thank you very much for taking time to talk to me.
Thank you, Gritty.
It is it's been fantastic getting to know you a little better.
Yeah.
We will be leaving Gnome's Twitch, Discord, all of our socials in the description. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. And if you like, feel free to leave the thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe and share it out. And I want to thank everyone for watching this episode. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the Go Live Lounge.
Yay!